some key things that entrap the idea of a personal self. One of them is time. One of them is the notion, the belief in time, okay? If there's no such thing as time, see, what would happen? Let's look at it. I need to get you to really look at this closely, okay? What would happen if there was no such thing as time? What would happen to your experience of me, your me? Look at it. If there was no such thing as time, what would happen to this idea of me? Can the me even exist without the notion of time? Is it dependent on time? Is the me dependent on the idea of time to seem to be? Now look at this. Is the me dependent on the notion of time to be?
Seems so. Because even like in language or in speech, it's like, I did this, he did that. There's like a reference point to like time and something happening and a person doing something.
I did such and such yesterday.
Right.
I can't wait until tomorrow.
Right.
Time. Yeah. I was born such and such a date.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to school, primary school, in 19 blah de blah.
Yep.
Time.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you can study, look at time, see, it's never not now, ever.
Right.
It's never not now. Now, how do you squeeze time into now? How do you do that? How is it possible to squeeze time into now? Because time is anything other than now. True?
Right. That's right.
Time is about past and future.
That's right.
Past and future. Right. Now, how do you squeeze past and future into now if it's always now? How do you do that? And your direct experience always is now.
Yeah.
Just like seeing that in and of itself would be enough to go bang. Seriously.
It's funny. Yeah, it's funny because I really struggle with time. Like that's like just being on time, ending on time, everything on time, like just like you know,
time and also the notion of free will. Those couple of things. That's all you got to, seriously, you've just got to look at both those things. Okay. It's enough. I'm telling you now, it's enough. The realization of those 2 points, free will and time.
So free will meaning like
you choose.
I choose, right.
And also I'm the doer, which would imply choice, would it not?
Yeah. So what about like if we take that example of like, you know, because I'm aware that what I said at the beginning was like, I'm noticing these choice points.
Yeah.
Where I could be like, oh, I could watch the Amber Heard trial. Or like, well, there's thoughts. One thought that says I could watch the Amber Heard trial. Wouldn't that be fun? And another thought that says, well, you should really be listening to blah, 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 blah. You know, Terrence. And if you really wanted to wake up, you would listen. If you really care, right? Like you would, they're just thoughts.
Correct.
So there's no me there.
Correct. And then what happens?
Yeah.
Then a choice just happens. Like,
exactly.
I could be watching Amber, I could be watching a video of Terrence, and then And then a
All of a
choice to
sudden,
process it
right.
the same way.
Yeah.
Without and you got nothing to do with it. You're
That's
witnessing it.
right. And
There's
it
just
does seem
there's a
that way.
belief.
Yeah.
There's a belief that I'm choosing.
Yeah. Right. It does seem that way because even if there's a thought of like, well, come on, you should really do this thing. It's like, well, the choice still happens to do whatever.
Come on, you should really be doing this thing. That you got no choice over that.
Totally.
That just happens too. It's
That's
all
right.
just happening. All of it. Choice.
Yeah.
I know it seems that way, but it only seems that way to a pattern of thoughts.
Right.
There's not an entity there. The me. It's not an entity.
Not an entity.
It's not a person.
Okay,
It's
so you
not
know
a
what?
thing.
Yeah. You know what's really freaking me out, Terry, is like that what you just said. It's like there's this weird, like, I don't know, like there's this like not one, there's some part that's like not wanting that to be so. Like, what do you mean Terry's empty and like mom's not really mom? And if she dies, there was never anybody there. And where does she like it's like there's this weird, like almost like well, it's just more thoughts of like, I don't understand or I don't like this. Like it seems person like so impersonal, like in a I don't know if I'm making sense.
You are, but that's just happening too.
Yeah, right. Okay.
You're giving it power by attributing it to a person.
Right.
To somebody.
Right.
That's all. And there's no one there. See, you're taking yourself to be the finite, where in actual fact, you're the infinite. You're just taking yourself to be this. It's like taking yourself to be a grain of sand on the beach, where in actual fact, what you are is the solar system. Really?
Yeah, I'm sensing that right now as you say that.
And then look at, this idea on, free will. Well, Jesus. Honey, if any of us had free will, our lives would be very different.
Totally different.
They'd be very different.
Right.
Yeah, you're not at all responsible for how your life is.
Right.
It's nothing to do with a you. Every little solitary thing that is happening, your whole complete absolute experience has got zero, zip, nada to do with a me. Even the me is just simply manifesting. Zero to do with the me. If the me indeed could do anything, it would. Things would change. You would absolutely change things.
That's right.
You absolutely would. You're being lived.
So when change happens, it's just happening. There's no one there doing it.
Correct.
It's just happening.
Now, is that true or false? Now you need to see whether or not that is true or false.
Well, I know that when driving the car is happening, that happens on its own.
So does walking.
Yeah,
so does
right.
sleeping. So does eating.
Right.
So does seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling. It happens on its own.
Right.
Just for a moment, sit here right now with your eyes open and choose not to see. Choose not to see. You have free will. Choose not to hear. Choose not to taste, smell, touch. Just choose not to.
Yeah.
You have free will.
Huh.
And then add it to the sixth sense. Now, choose not to think. Because that just happens, just like seeing just happens.
Mm-hmm.
Hearing, tasting, touching, smelling just happens, does it not?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
Good. So too the thoughts. Thoughts is the creative sense. It's a sensory organ, honey. Not that you could find the organ as such, but yeah, thinking is the creative element. If you can acknowledge, okay, it's not the me that's doing everything.
Right.
Yeah? And now you want to know, well, what is it that's doing everything?
Yeah.
It's only the me. It's the me that's wanting to know what's doing everything.
Oh.
And there's no answer. Certainly no answer that would satisfy the me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you could go, oh, well, it's the universe. Oh, it's Mother Nature. Oh, it's God. Oh, it's right.
Yeah.
That's doing it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It won't satisfy the me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might a little bit. Yeah, but not fully. Yeah. The thoughts are dependent on time.
Mm-hmm.
They run in conjunction with the concept of time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, time is a concept. Therefore, the me must be a concept. It can't be anything else other than a concept.
Right.
Okay. Now, the reason the me keeps getting hooked up with the idea that no, me is here, is because that here that the me is referring to is not the me.
Right.
But the me believes it is.
Right. That's that when it's the me overlaid.
Yeah. And what
Experiencing.
could it possibly be doing that too? Just this.